Hello, guys. Welcome to another night with the Love Doctor. We're going to quickly talk about this subject that I wanted to talk about. So thank you for joining me this evening. As you see, my topic is what happens when you take on other people's emotions, okay? So this is going to be short and quick. I think it'll help you understand how and why you should not take on other people's emotions, okay? And I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because I don't really think we really think about this, what happens when we do take on other people's emotions. And I think it's a good subject to talk about, okay? So I'm going to go right into it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Continue to follow, subscribe. Make sure you send me comments. Stay abreast. Follow me, like, and I love and appreciate those who send me the hearts. And thank you for being a part. Okay, let's get right into this. Now, what do I mean? What happens when you take over people's emotions or another person's emotions? What does that mean, Love Doctor? What do you mean I'm taking on someone else's emotions? Okay, so that means you take their thought process of what they think. You take their likes. You take their dislike. You take their pain. You take their decision. You see where I'm going? I could go on and on. So I wanted to quickly talk about what happens when you do that. What happens when you take on somebody else's emotions and you dealing with what they think? Okay? This one I wanted to really talk about because I think most people don't really think about this, but you're mostly doing it. So let's talk about what happens when you take on somebody else's emotions. So if I'm saying that wrong, guys, emotions. What happens when you do that? When you, okay, let me give you an example. If I tell you a story about my friend, and I tell you of a situation where the friend caused me harm or pain, and I am upset, you all take on that person's emotions. And when you take on someone else's emotions, you're bringing their pain into the atmosphere of your life, which in turn gets you off balance. You understand? So when someone tells you something about them, right? Why do you get caught up in how they feel? See, that is something you have got, we have to come together and figure out how to stop taking on other people's pains and other people's decisions and other people's thoughts. Another example. Let's talk about the young lady, a conversation of a young lady. A young lady would tell her friend about a girl she doesn't like to her friend. And she'll say why she don't like her, why she's not right, how she is. Okay. But you take on not liking the girl as well. You take on that. I don't like her either. She's not my friend either. Why? That person didn't do anything to you. So why do you now dislike the person that your friend disliked? You've got to stay separate. See, I'm a person that try to stay in separate, right? If I get information about a situation, I'm going to keep it separate. I'm not going to get involved on either other side. I'm going to stay right in the middle. And that is something that I want to talk about because I feel that you've got to learn to start staying in the middle. Stop taking on other people's pain. Stop taking on their dislike for someone that you don't know. You're taking on a dislike for somebody you don't even know. You're taking on somebody's pain, and you stressing your own self out, and now you having issues in your own world. You see? You're stressing about somebody else. Stop worrying about what somebody else have going on. You got to move on. I'll give you an example. So lately, I've been just staying focused, right? And when I do that, I don't really talk on the phone as much. I may answer your call, and I may not. When I'm focused, I'm not going to answer the phone because I've got things I got to work on. Because if I answer your call, I got to hear a story about your issue. I don't have time for that because that's going to take me off my focus. Now I'm not handling my business. You see what I mean? I'm not taking care of my business because I'm too busy focusing on you. You see where I'm going? When you take on people, when you take up people's time, it's precious. But some people don't care. Some people don't care because they think at that time and moment they need to tell you something. And granted, some people are dealing with stress and depression and loneliness and need someone to talk to. So if you talk to someone that is experiencing that, don't take on their emotions and their feelings. If you sit and help your friend and you're listening to your friend talk about somebody or talk about a situation, even just themselves, you gotta let it go. So now let's get into the relationship side. When you take on your mate emotions and their decision and what they want and what they don't want and how they like it and don't like it, you're dealing with what they want. And if you keep doing that, it's going to be hard to get what you want because you always caught up in what they want. And when you finally say, hey, I like XYZ, whatever, they're looking at you like shock. Because why would you now have some type of feeling about needing something to be taken care of? Because you're so caught up in their emotions. You're so caught up in what they need. And sometimes I feel that women have it bad with that because women tend to take on other women emotions and then they want to bring it to their mate and talk about somebody else. Ladies, most of the time, men don't care. I'm not trying to be harsh. Y'all know this is why I'm going to do the membership page that you all are going to have to, because I get raw and I don't want y'all to feel no kind of way. But we got to start talking raw. And I've got to really start helping my people understand about love, relationship, and self. And I need to really talk hard to you guys. So men, and I'm just going to be honest, men don't care. I'm trying not to say that, but it's funny when I say it because it's true. You know, women, you know how when you talking to them and you in this emotional state, you talking about a situation you done had with your friend, he don't even know what you just said. He like, yeah, okay, really? Men don't like to take on other people's emotions. Most of the time, men don't. And I'm not trying to separate the races or sex decisions, but it's reality. Most straight men don't have time to take on your emotions. I'm not trying to put, my gay men down. The reality is straight men don't have time, okay? And they're not going to take on your emotion. To them, that's too much. And if they really a straight man got it going on, he gonna tell you that's too much. Whatever y'all got going on, y'all fix it. Too much for me. So don't feel no kind of way, because men are not taking on women emotions. They're just not. So you take this to your girl, and then you take on her emotion, and you want to bring that to the man. A man is not going to deal with that. So what I'm trying to say, don't get into your emotions feeling some kind of way when the man say, I don't want to hear it. That's y'all thing. Because my brother do it all the time. I'll bring him something, tell him about, that would be really major, but he is this person. I don't want to hear none of that. He is quick to shut me down. Tell him, I don't want to hear it. Anytime I got an issue with my other sibling, my oldest brother, I always tell my I don't want to hear it. You're on your own. That's what he would always say. So I just wanted to quickly have this conversation about taking on the other emotions. Try to hold off from taking on their thoughts, their decision, their pain, their likes, their dislikes, because you have too much to do. You have a lot that you're working on. You have things you're handling. You may be handling family. You may be handling your relationship. You may be handling yourself. And you don't have time to get caught up in other people's emotions. Get caught up in your own emotions and get you right. Get self right. Make self feel good. Make self happy. Don't deal with other people's drama. Okay? So I just wanted to have that quick talk. I hope that the information that you receive is helping you with some things. This was my basic talk. We'll have our next raw talk another night. So I hope what I was talking about, I just wanted to talk about that because it's needed when you are trying to resolve situations. And in order to resolve situations, you have to stay in a place of self-life. So when you bring on someone else's situations to someone else, you bring in drama, you bring in confusion, you bring in mess. Okay?